Hi everybody, it's Lisa. Thank you for watching. I am really excited. I'm now in week 22 at the very end, and tomorrow is day 1 of week 23. So there's a lot to look forward to because I'm almost at a milestone, which is week 24. Last time I left off telling you guys that I was going to do yoga, and I did. I tried a class and I really liked it. I think everyone should do yoga, pregnant or not pregnant, men, women. It's just fun. It's it's relaxing and exercise at the same time. I recommend it for everyone who's pregnant because it really helps you with your back pain, and she teaches you a lot of movements to try and help you with, with gas, which by the way works. What else did I learn at yoga? I learned how to breathe, which I think is very important. Not everybody really understands that, when you're breathing, it's not just about your lungs, it's about everything, your stomach, your back, your posture. And it was really just, I liked it. It was really amazing. And the baby cooperated. She was very relaxed and she stayed asleep the whole time. She did wake up when we got home and I laid down, which is her normal thing now. And a big thing that happened in week 22, right at the last day of week 21, I felt my first kick. And it was a real kick. It was like not just little movements, not little flutters. It was a kick. And I was like, wow. And then I realized what it was. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And George was sitting next to me and he's like, what happened? And I'm like, well, I think I just felt a kick. He's like, well, what did it feel like? And I sat there for a couple seconds, like, what did it feel like? I couldn't describe it. And the next day, I was able to describe it. And I'm not sure if it's still on, but it felt like somebody threw a pebble at me. Because it was quick, it was sharp, and it was done. And then I looked, it was gone. So I waited for another kick. Of course it didn't come. And so I'm like, was that really a kick? Of course I doubted myself, and I'm like, So I picked up the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, and they're like, oh, you may experience movement or a kick, and then nothing for the next 2 days or the next day or whatever. And I'm like, okay, all right, so I won't be worried if I don't feel her tomorrow. And lo and behold, I didn't feel her the next day. I didn't feel her kick, but I felt her little flutters at nighttime when I just lay down. And then I was on the train the other day, and I'm just sitting there like every other day, like every day I sit on the train going to and from work. And she kicked me so hard multiple times. I was like in public, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, how do I control myself? It was comical. But it was awesome. It was an amazing experience, and I loved it. And I want her to kick me again. And she has been. But it's always, of course, always a surprise. I lay down, I'm ready to relax, and I'm like, okay, you can kick me, girl, little girl, wake up, go, have your fun, it's time for you to wake up, because mommy's been rocking you all day, moving all along the streets and working and going back and forth here and there. She doesn't kick. It's when you're moving or when you're sitting that she just surprises you. And I'm like, wait, I thought you were asleep. Because you don't feel her, it's just all of a sudden she's stretching, and it's just the coolest feeling, and it's like a surprise too, because you're in public and you're like, oh, and you have to try and control yourself. So that was my kicking story. Oh boy, I loved it, and I want more, even though I know that as she gets bigger and stronger, it's gonna get a little more painful. And maybe it'll go up into the ribs and it'll be even more painful, but I am looking forward to every bit of her kicking. I wanted to talk to you about some of the changes that are going on in my body. If I look like I'm sweating, it's probably because I am. I'm always hot now. Even though it's kind of chilly outside, I'm hot. I love it. I want to just go outside. Eventually they're going to turn on the air conditioning at work, hopefully. I've been turning on the fan, and they do. Last summer it was so cold at the office, and I think this summer, now that I'm pregnant, it'll just be perfect. George has been wearing sweatshirts because I'm like, oh, leave the windows open, oh, it feels great. And he's like, okay, and then he puts on his jacket, and I'm like, man, usually it's the complete opposite. I'm the complete wimp who doesn't want the AC on, who loves heat, which I do, I love heat, but I've been freezing him out. Oh, but he's okay with that. A couple of changes. I've completely lost my ankles. I shouldn't say completely, because I can still see a little bump there. About a month and a half ago, I bought shoes a little larger because in the beginning of the day, my feet were fine, but then towards the end of the day, they were swollen. So I'm like, okay, let me prepare. Let me buy some shoes now, because eventually they're just going to stay this big size. Well, now the shoes that I bought a month and a half ago don't fit. And apparently, learning from the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, at week 22, your ligaments in your feet start stretching. And when they stretch, the bones also move, and your feet pretty much grow, maybe a half size, sometimes a whole size. Things are still happening, so I don't know. I went to the shoe store the other day, and I'm like, oh, let me just buy another pair of these exact shoes in a larger size and a different color. Can I tell you, the larger size still didn't fit me, and they didn't have an even larger size, so I walked out without shoes. But I'm going to have to find comfortable shoes soon. I also wanted to talk about bending. I feel like now that I'm pregnant that I drop everything. Everything just falls right out of my hands. The other day, I'm like, forget it, I'm not going to bend down. I'll just leave it on the floor. And I'm like, oh, but I really need that. So I wanted to show you my new technique to avoid bending. You ready? Oh, my stomach's in the way. Look, I can't see my feet. All right. Ta-da! So you guys, thank you for watching, and I wanted to make sure that I showed you the growth in my tummy. I just finished eating, so I have no idea if it's big because I ate or if it's big because I grew. I don't feel any differently in regards to size, but I'll show you my tummy. There might be a line from my pants that I've been wearing all day. I can't see. Oh no. Well, maybe. And so this is my beautiful little girl right in here. I was reading that she is 8 inches right now. She's the size of a small doll. So I'm thinking that she's right around here because, again, I feel her little feet over here, and I think she's been elbowing me right around here. She's got some pretty strong elbows because I feel the pain penetrate all the way down, and I'm like, I have to like hold myself sometimes. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next week.